sure you stick around to the end and find out what went wrong. It was a doozy and something I'll be living with for the rest of my life. So stick around till then.
Good morning, everybody. Not sure if you can see me. Probably not very good. It's GoPro's light camera or dark camera modes aren't super great. But I got in late last night. We have snow, as you can see. It was quite a bit more last night. I was woken up to snow falling off the roof, sounding like someone was beating the house down. And then I finally realized it was warming up because, one, I had the heat on in the cabin, and two, it's pretty warm right now. You can hear the water dripping. Things are starting to melt. I mean, everything was snow covered 100% last night. So, I thought I'd show you a little bit about what the morning routine is. We got a new little stove. That's going to be nice. We don't have to use the camping one anymore. Everything's looking good around here. You can see snow. There's the wood shed. Everything's looking good. Nothing to mess with. I checked the closest trail cam. Nothing on it. Squirrels are unhappy that we're back in their area. By the way, we had a full roll of toilet paper and a partially used roll of toilet paper in the outhouse, and pretty sure the squirrels got one of them, so I'll shred it up. Probably shredding it for making their nest. Well, hopefully we can help them out a little bit, but we're gonna have to come up with a better plan for allowing them not to get to it. Today we are having Just Black Regular Coffee Company. If you don't like normal coffee, Just Black is just right. It's like a medium between the Beyond Black, which is a little too dark for me, and then the medium roast. This is a medium roast, but a little darker. So what's on the menu today are pancakes and eggs. Coffee grounds go in the bottom. I'm going to grab the hot water with a pad because it's super hot. I always make extra hot water to wash up with later in the night. Pour it over. Gotta let it steep for 5 minutes or so, and then you push the plunger down, and then you're done. There's the coffee. In the coffee trash that we use to keep the water warm to clean up at night. You can find people throwing these away all the time. There we go. There we go. I always break my yolks. This is just Aunt Maple's protein oat pancake waffle from Aldi. I'm going to try something weird here. Heard of people making those like pancake bites. I'm just going to put this right over the top of that. That's going to be fun trying to flip. So the eggs and the ham are inside of that. Once I start seeing some bubbles, then I'll flip her. It's just so peaceful up here when there's snow and that crisp air. Well, the flip didn't turn out like I thought it would. Maybe weird, but I put some chocolate chips on there because we don't have any syrup. Add a little sweetness. Coffee all poured. That's going to be delicious. This isn't super bad. Not something I would feed to Sarah until I perfected it, but it works pretty good for me. So, main job on this trip was to winterize, which is simple when you don't really have plumbing. So for the electrical, all that I really do is take the solar panels and flatten them out so that any snow that comes off the roof, which is what's doing right now, you can see all of that. Last night, up sleeping, and it sounds like somebody's running up the steps to come get me. And I realized it was just the snow melting off the roof. One, it's almost 40 today, and last night with the cabin heating up, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, I can see it, some of the water dripping down off the edge and creating the piles. So the snow sliding off the roof, because it's metal, sounded really crazy, really loud. And then after the first time, I finally realized what it was. So to winterize the porch, all I really do is put plywood up. I know it doesn't look nice and neat. This is what the previous owners did, so I'm just using that for now until we can get a better plan. So got all this up, and this is really just to stop the snowfall from pushing in on the screens. So we're good with that. Go for a walk back in the woods to the far trail cam, see what we can find. Shed's holding up good. Come spring, I'll put some tar paper and some metal roofing on that. I'll shape it up. This is where I got the salt block last time, and tons of does, which I assume were does, on the trail cam which I have on that tree. But now that I built the woodshed, I'm wondering if they're not coming in because this doesn't look as natural. Looks like there's some thought there was some disturbance in the ground, but it's just the hemlocks. So beautiful, it almost feels disrespectful to talk. There it is, right there. I was sort of hoping this was a run, which is why I put it here. Might want to face it this way when I leave. Rabbit. See the two hop, back 2 feet, pushing off. So here's another set of tracks going up. Then going back.
But wait, the next morning things went terribly wrong. Well, that thing that happened sort of looked like this. I was leaving at 6:30 in the morning to get ready to head home, just right before Thanksgiving. And I slipped and fell off the steps. I had my bag on me. When I slipped, my bag flung my body off the steps. I landed on my right wrist, which looked sort of like that. I couldn't take a picture of it. It swelled up like a balloon instantly. I thought it was dislocated. I pulled it to try to put it back in place. That didn't work. I was sort of walking around the yard in a stupor because I did hit my head pretty hard. Wasn't sure how long I was actually knocked out. But making a long story short, I called my wife. She didn't answer the first time because it was 6:30 in the morning. Called again and she answered, and I said, "I think I broke my wrist, honey." I don't even really remember what happened in the conversation after that. Luckily, I had everything packed up already. I got in my truck, and I started driving towards the hospital in the town that's closest to the cabin. They took some x-rays. They said it's broke. They'll just put a cast on it, and you'll be good to go in a couple weeks. Well, called my buddy, who's a physical therapist. Actually, Sarah called my buddy, got me connected to an orthopedic surgeon, told him what happened. Got in that next day to take x-rays. I overheard him in the hallway saying that effing idiot of a doctor called me out, told me that it's much more serious than just a break and a cast, that it's going to need surgery. Make a long story short, went in for surgery the day following that, had a 5.5 hour surgery, ended up with metal plate and a pin. The pin was to put the parts of the radius that dislocated and broke from the bone back together, and the plate was to keep my wrist from being able to move while it was healing for the 14 weeks until they could take it out with the second surgery. Now, to make a long story short here, I guess in the end, and I want to do a separate video on this a little bit later, but I think one of the big problems with being alone and off grid is just the danger of things like this potentially happening. Now, the sad reality of this is I had to drive home 6.5 hours with a 9 out of 10 pain and a broken wrist. The hospital wasn't able to give me any, drugs because obviously I had to drive home. And it's been a long process. It's still not perfect. It'll never be perfect. I'll never have full mobility in my wrist again. I'm just starting to be able to do normal things again. But just make sure when you're off grid, you're being cautious. That's probably the biggest thing that I can take from all of this is go slow, be methodical, especially when you're by yourself. Make sure you're being very safe and very calm, and that's definitely the lesson I'm going to take from this. So if you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll do the best that I can.